Politics and geopolitics news. Vance could be a candidate for statewide office in 2028 election, Rubio. U.S. Democratic Party's approval rating falls to lowest level in 35 years, Wall Street Journal poll. Feat, Brazil strengthens ties with BRICS despite Trump's threats to impose duties. The U.S. Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, wants to cut federal regulation in half with the help of ARI, which is to analyze some 200,000 federal regulations to identify those that can be repealed because they are no longer required by law. The plan is to do this by the anniversary of Trump's inauguration on January 20, 2026. Trump announces trade agreement with EU. Trump, EU invests $600 billion more in the US than before. 15% duty on EU goods. Trump, all EU countries will open markets to the US. Financial and stock market news. ARI startup Anthropic, backed by Amazon, is valued at $150 billion in its latest funding round. U.S. corporate reporting this week. India's share in US smartphone shipments has increased to nearly 36% in the first 5 months of 2025 from around 11% in 2024. China's share declined from 82% to 49% in the same period, the Indian Express. Porsche's 2Q 2025 profit falls 91%, build. Eurozone GDP data on July 30 will likely point to stagnation in the economy again, Bloomberg. VIX at its lowest in a year. Experts are increasingly talking about the complete loss of investor fear in US equities. Barclays' euphoria indicator is starting to enter a historical zone of extremes. JP Morgan finds the current carelessness of investors in global equities frightening. Crypto world news. Galaxy Digital completed the sale of 80,000 BTC. Cumulative open interest in ETH futures on the CME exchange has hit a record. CryptoQuant. Sentiment writes about the overheated in-the-moment bullish sentiment in ETH as opposed to BTC and XRP. Investors buy back BTC as its price falls. While the price of Bitcoin is falling, open interest is reaching new highs. According to CryptoQuant, open interest in BTC reached an all-time high as its price fell, reaching $44.5 billion. When open interest rises as the price falls, it means new trading positions are opening. VeChain is partnering with $1.5 trillion asset manager Franklin Templeton to integrate the Benji platform for tokenized corporate payments. The price of the VET token is on the rise. Capital inflow into ETF. On July 25, about 1.1k BTC and 122.2k ETH were bought. Net inflows into the BTC ETF totaled 130.8 million. Meanwhile, inflows into the ETH ETF totaled 452.8 million. Institutional interest still remains, which has a positive impact on the price of Bitcoin and Ethereum. BlackRock Foundation CEO says Bitcoin will globally dominate as the world's reserve currency over the US dollar. CNBC confirms that the White House bill on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies will include an update on the strategic reserve. The US is preparing to purchase Bitcoin. Inflows into spot BTC ETFs have slowed, but aggregate inflows are still holding near record levels, Farside data. Inflows into spot BTC ETFs are one of the main bullish drivers in the market. CryptoQuant, the source of the current rally in BTC is not retail investors, but continued active accumulation by institutional and corporates. CNBC, White House report on digital assets will include recommendations on the feasibility of a strategic national cryptocurrency reserve. The US White House is expected to release its first report on digital assets on July 30. Bit Digital plans to increase its authorized capital to $1 billion to fund additional ETH purchases. MUFG, Japan's largest bank, has announced plans to tokenize real estate, making it more accessible to both institutional and retail investors. Defiance bought ETH for a balance of $115 million. Whales are buying ETH. Mass open interest in ETH futures on the CME has reached an all-time high of $7.85 billion, the largest institutional bid for ETH ever. Why it matters? The CME is a venue where Wall Street and large funds trade, not retail investors. The rise in open interest means that big capital is betting on the future of ETH. Institutionalists are not gambling, they are accumulating assets with confidence. Summary: everything points to a potentially powerful Ethereum move. The scenario for a new momentum is almost perfect.